Hello, 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 hello. Yes, today is Monday, April 6th, 2026. I had told you all about stuff I was going through, unnecessary stuff. How people had set out to, told you about the lies on my kids' fathers was in on it. And they told me all my kids was dead and all that stuff. These people harbored me, did things to keep me in the United States, all this stuff when I did not want those men no longer part of my life. They had women. I had moved on with my husband. When I started dating him and we got married, that's when a lot of problems got started and my children's fathers was acting like assholes. And even the women they were dating realized that too. What the hell is wrong with y'all? Y'all act like y'all with her and all this stuff, you know? But let me get to the point. I told you all the stuff I've been through, and I told you about these people. Some of them call themselves vice lords. Some of them are gangster disciples, and also vice lords. I told you comments were being made from gangster disciples saying, "Oh man," or talking about how they was gonna kill me. The vice lords was gonna get the blame. I'm talking about all type conversation exists, and the whole thing was the government said, "What's their problem with you? Ain't that right, J. Rowe?" J. Rowe had been on semester the whole time with his daddy Prince and Prince daddy. They lived in the Oil Weathers housing projects in East St. Louis. Every time J. Rowe would be with his daddy and his mama Apollonia and Prince daddy, they be talking mess about me. Don't forget her. We can't do this because of her. And a lot of people had told him what it was. They wanted you dead, J. Rowe. They wanted you and your brother dead. They hated I worked at the hospital when them ambulance brought you in. They hated I was there that night when Veronica Sherrod and Scott brought you in. You know? I can't tell how you was when they brought you in because I treated you. But I could tell what I just said. Veronica Sherrod and her man of 40 years, Scott, told him too. You mad at the wrong people. All these people telling their kids, oh man, how they family could have had this and that if I wouldn't have worked here and I wasn't such a just person. All the time they was talking about ending y'all lives so they family could have something. You are not part of that inclusion of the good things going on in their family. They no longer wanted you to be part of the family. See how they treated you all and put you off on other people who are not your family. Then you have the nerve to get mad at people who helped you out the kindness of their heart? How dare you? You are scarred for life. God sent you help and you abused it. You know? Running around half-ass nothing. You leaned on my cousin Harold Inchai and his woman Geraldine. Y'all had y'all nerve. Rufus, what you was on? J-Ro, what was you on? Our family didn't owe you nothing. My Uncle Denzel told him, send them kids back to Prince now. Will he give y'all any money for them and this, that, and other? He doing shows and doing this. Then my Uncle Dazzy, which is Denzel Washington, found out the granddaddy was getting benefits for them, food stamps, all type stuff. And then want to get Geraldine them nothing. Hold up. Then start stuff within our family. Yeah, you need to go on. They kept acting like they hated us so bad, but kept coming around us. We didn't come around y'all. That's the whole thing about everything that been going on. Why was y'all coming around us, CC? Charmaine, Big Tyrone, Michael Scott, talking the list goes on and on. Nicole Patterson, Tasha Patterson, whatever y'all, Fred Patterson. I wasn't friends with Fred Patterson. He was on bullcrap the whole time. There was always something going on with Fred Patterson and the woman that ended up being his wife, Kathy Mama. Kathy ain't really had nothing to do with it. She said she didn't want nothing to do with it. Because she knew what they was doing. They was plotting the whole time. The whole time. But see, Fred was put in positions where he had to tell the truth. Like all the rest of them. Putting people in their business. For what? Why you think you need an eyewitness for everything? Because you want to hurt your own. Yeah. And like everybody gonna go along with it. I don't know where I'll come to me with that. You know? Why y'all want to hurt kids and do all that stuff? Then go around other people and get mad, won't want nobody go along with y'all doing all that type stuff, raping and sodomizing 2 and 3 year olds and all this stuff. Oh no. And I worked in emergency medicine. I was sworn in to save a life. Regardless if I don't like that person or whatever the case may be, I do my job. I walk away. My name will be on the paperwork. You know, I might be the person that saved their life, did techniques, admit them in the hospital. But they continue to care. I hand over to another doctor. You know? That's what I would do. Because I didn't care to talk to them. Didn't want anything to do with those people. But I did my job that I went to school for. You know? I enjoyed being a physician. You know? But let me continue on with this. These kids, this man, I told you all how I met Alfred Lee Spinks. He came around because he knew I had an Uncle Al. He had never seen my Uncle Al. He didn't even know my Uncle Al was Al Green. Him and Lionel Richie. I told y'all about that in the other videos. First time I seen them. And Chris Brown was with them. Chris Brown, now all of them call themselves Chris Brown. All Chris Clark's sons. It's 7 of them to be a fact. All of them resemble each other, but they different height, different sizes. But everybody stand over 6 feet now. Okay? So let's get to the chase. The man Alfred Spinks, Lionel Richie, and them just kept on with mess and Barry Gordon them. Trying to be slick and think they could double talk me, but the whole time, nobody really knew how old I was. I told you all. They scoping, being nosy. I never knew how old my little short self was. I was in high school. The high school I went to started at 8th grade. Mm-hmm. Then the other school right there next to it was like 1st through 7th. Whether they had a primary or another one for kindergarten, so all that other stuff, I don't know. So anyway, let me cut to the chase. And went to the point and all that vice law stuff that was happening against me. Eddie Levert started that. Eddie Levert, Gerald Levert, dad, them OJs. I ain't know nothing about no gang stuff. And they kept hyping up that stuff, Betty Wright and all that. We had already took care of that. Feds had already took care of it. We knew about the rest of them and what was going on and all this, but he kept trying to play a role like I didn't know what was going on. I'm like, no, my mama name ain't no Betty Wright. I'm calling the funeral homes. Any man name of Betty Wright been around there, I'm calling Officer Funeral Home. No. So we know what she is. She dead or something? I said, if she Betty Wright, then. Okay. I said, but that ain't my mom. I said, these people going around keeping up a bunch of mess. I said, well, if you get a body there with somebody named Betty Wright, I just want you to know. Yeah. So around that time, I ended up being the mayor of East St. Louis and all this type stuff, and all this stuff was going on. While Gerald Levert, dad, Eddie Levert, keeping up stuff. It was them. Are we just trying to help? Help me do. I don't need your help for nothing. Gerald Levert coming around, keeping up messy, having sex with Deisha and Trianne, them. He kept trying to be in my face a little bit, but you can't. No, it don't work like that. I used to kick it with him, but it was on my terms. So we gonna do the way I want to do. You know. And he knew Disha and Tran was the type to run their mouth whether they knew what they talking about or not. You know? Hmm. They weren't helping me do nothing. They needed my help. He just kept trying to scheme off the music and all this stuff. When you look it up on YouTube and say through this record, oh no, I just said that, because I don't like Motown and I don't know I said I own Universal. Oh man, and oh no, you're not finna steal my music and not pay me. You know? All these people so nosy and I end up meeting the guy from the Gangster Disciple, Hoover, them, all this stuff. I kicked it with on top the real Hoover, the one, the light skinned guy had the good hair, long hair. That's the real one. The other one they showed, that was just somebody part of their squad. And that's what it actually had ended up being. Another gang's coming towards me, talking to me, and I'm like, hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on. I said, I'm a doctor. I'm a lawyer too. I said, I'm a judge, but at that time, I just worked juvenile. Hold up, y'all. I wasn't even trying to really pay attention to any of that type stuff. Because when they first came, we talking about some Vice Lord. I'm writing stuff down, Vice Lord. I told you I was born a child of God. I was not raised to be evil and do all that old stuff these people was doing. I didn't know anything about race or a black person, a white person, and we gonna do this and I wasn't raised like that. Mm-mm, nope. I would never even call a white person a white person. Caucasian, yeah, but it didn't mean nothing to me like to be hateful or anything, you know. But my point is that these things happen. I'm talking when I heard about Vice Lord, I'm asking everybody, do you know what a Vice Lord is? A Vice Lord church or something? It's all, I'm thinking biblical stuff. Then I heard about they talk about the disciples. I said that's a terrible name for a church. I say, especially when one, betrayed Jesus and all that, because I know biblical stuff. I said, well, I guess they finna have some betrayal going on up in that. That I wouldn't even name my church, my congregation that. That's what I'm, looking at. And that's the meaning I was getting of it until, you know, Eddie Levert and them really start coming around and keeping no bull crap. So, oh man, we help you clear up that stuff. You ain't help me clear up with no Betty, right? What did you tell my mama and dad? My mama and dad and them dead because of them. This stuff already took place. What is you talking about? What you talking about? Hey, don't come in my house no more. He bring the rest of the OJs. They trying to explain. Man, what you doing, Ed? They trying to play that role in front of me. Like this person could. No, y'all, look. Get out of my house with that. That's how don't ever come around me no more. And get out my hotel. Tell me because they family y'all moved to St. Louis. They ain't have nowhere to stay. I said y'all been in my hotel for 2 years, and now y'all getting some type of public assistance, food stamps, and everything. I go up and I put everybody out. Everybody, you know, I clear a house, and somebody tried to set it on fire. It was on the news and everything, and all that type of stuff. Then I fixed it up, and then people started turning it up again. It was them. People at the front desk trying to act all tough. You know how them conversations went. So we had a lot of undercovers go up and down. Hmm. To the drunkards, to the drug dealers, to the half paying, to the full paying. All eyes was on them the whole time. But Athlete Spinks put a hit out on me like 4 times using Ludacris and Nicole Patterson and J-Ro. I don't even know J-Ro real name. But every time he do something, he run up under my cousin and try her. Run over there with Geraldine, them, and they sons and all that stuff. Mm-hmm. Yep, keeping up chaos. And I ain't talking about DJ chaos. I'm talking about chaos for real. You know? Told you how I started up again. I was on Instagram with my baby girls, all three of them. We be putting their music out there. You know, they gave Justin Bieber that song. My baby K them gave him that song, Yummy. Flick a switch. That was my baby showering them song and the dance and other stuff with Wiz Khalifa. Had some talented little elementary school kids. I got some talented daughters, you know. The rapper Montana had been knowing me. So when he was thinking about stuff, he thought that when he called to make an appointment with me to go ahead and do what we was from, get the stuff, the contracts and stuff, he said he thought he really was kind of talking to my daughter, Jay Shira. He said, she sounds so young on the phone, and so she grown now. I'm a date her. I'm thinking, you ain't for to date my baby. Yo, baby, she grown. I said, no, Jashira is not. He said, I thought her name was Jay Shira. Then when he came by my house, I said, this is just Shira, right? This was who you was talking to on the phone. He pulled off. He said, damn, I tripped. I said, you ain't have to pull off like that. You could have just been like, hey, little girl, I made a mistake. Thought you was your big sister. That's all he had to do, you know? So, but like I said, all this stuff is going on. Montana and them going around. Like, she a real queen. They talking about me. She royalty. Do you know she a diplomat? Do you know who she is? She a world leader. He been telling them. I'm one of the people to help make the nation choices for the survival of the fittest and the unfit. You know, to pass the knowledge on and stuff that God gave us to use to survive, to help other people make it too. That's what world leaders do. When people were creating missiles and all this other stuff was going on because they were scared of the unknowing. The unknowing is they talked about that for a long time. At one time, the world actually feared aliens. It was not each other and other countries and all that stuff. It was aliens they were scared of. They were preparing themselves, the world was preparing themselves for alien attacks. Because knowledge was so misful out here. All the different things of the world was showing. hmm Like, what's the name of that country? Can't even think of right now. When they had their tornado storms and stuff, how the sky go red. Everything is red. The moon, the sun, the sky is red. Not like a light red, pure D red. Other things that seem so obscure and make people they go other places. Like I show little stuff I'll be showing on there about how the mountains, how some stuff looks, and it look like it's coming down on the earth. People were scared of all that type of stuff too. Because everybody was from different regions and lacked understanding of certain places. Because it was unknowing. Missiles and all that stuff was actually made for aliens. People passing on bad information. And one thing led to another. Like the attack on Hiroshima. Like the attack on Pearl Harbor. All this stuff was unnecessary and did not have to happen. You know, bad messages. Other people doing stuff they have no business doing. Just like I got kidnapped and ended up in America. You know, United States government interfered in my life unjustly. No cause, no reason. They shouldn't have did that. Because I've been catching hell. Although I made myself successful, I always acquired knowledge because that's what I was taught. The good things that's in me was instilled in me. And a lot of people here in the United States, born and raised, knew that. They knew my great granny Ethel. They know I got a good family. I was not raised the wrong way. But all this goes together. I'm telling you, people. I was at a point at one time when the U.S. soldiers, the Army, Marines, and all these people, was into it with each other. And all served the same country. I'm talking about eyes were so open all the way to when Donald Trump came, and I let everybody know. I contacted Democrats and the Republicans about him, and they found out everything I said about him was true. Busted him. He was going off the stuff that you're seeing on the news and AI put with it. That's what he was doing in other countries. Acting like he was president of the United States when he wasn't. That's what they showing y'all. How other countries contacted. I'm saying stuff other people say, wait a minute. Yeah. This man was making moves without even a passport because his real name was not Donald Trump Sr. It was, he had no social security number attached with it, nothing. They had been found that out. It was the point of finding out who he conspires with. Who allowed all this stuff to go on all this time? Why was he allowed to walk through FBI offices? I caught him in St. Louis, Missouri, FBI office. He bragging, talking about his friends in place. He finna do this. Oh, that man, a terrible web he weaved and caught himself up. And how I ended up being so adamant on him because he kidnapped my kids. He molested my boys, had them sucking giving them fellatio, feeding them stuff raw, trying to get them all type stuff. Yeah, and Shaq be right there. Shaq be right there with them. That's the black man used to be with them all the time. Oh, Big Shaq. LA Lakers. He's former NBA player. The man who really couldn't play. The highlights they show you, that's the only time he ever did something. And he paid for that. Him and his brother switching out. And he's really from East St. Louis, Illinois. When they be saying all that stuff about Donald Trump living in the projects, they weren't lying. And everybody be talking about how he a molester. I'm like, oh, y'all better tell the right. A pedophile is somebody that stalk somebody till they get grown and then they'll try to get on. The pedophile is a stalker. But wait for their prey to get to an adult. No, that man a molester. A predator. A child predator. A thief. A liar. Do home invasions. All types of stuff. But like I said, them Democrat and Republicans paid attention. When he tried to go to the Democrats, they shut that down real quick. Oh, we don't need none of that. They're like, girl, won't you just be a Democrat? I said, no, I'm a child of God. That's all it is. That's all it is in me. I don't belong to a particular party. I'm on God's team. Because I live in this world too. Republicans took on the challenge. They really had stuff already on them. and the game was on. They had an international event. Everybody was there, giving speeches out, and he was there. That was the first round of presidency. I can't even say it right. You know what I'm presidency. Caught him with talking to a little girl. This little girl right there in front of everybody. Mr. Trump, you still gonna buy me a game and stuff? You gonna come over our house? He like, shh. No, I need to know now. Cause we can, you gonna buy me this? She sat in front of all the congressmen and senators. They like, woo, camera zoomed in, bam, got that mic loud. She said, I'ma suck you, okay? I'm gonna do it just like you like. And this, and this. And her mom like, yeah, he always come on. He said, his mom said, her mom was like, he always been coming around him anyway doing that. And the crowd went, wow. It was on televised on national TV. And they zoomed out. Oh my God. Oh, well, you know, them mics something else, especially when you at congressional stuff and all that. You a public entity. Oh, it's not a mic that's silenced. It's mics right there where they sit at all this stuff. Mm-hmm. He was dealing with so many other countries that conveyed that stuff. Child molestation. Now, let me get to my country of Dubai. I don't know who them people are. I told you when I built my country and all that, there was nothing there, nothing around, nothing. I built it from scratch. You know? And most of those people came here from America. They came from another country. You know, like Nipsey Hussle, them people. The dude they was calling James, I forgot his real name. The one his mama had told me to, when he died, just burn him in the dumpster with some wood because he ain't worth it. They cost too much even for, almost said Inferno, but you know, it is Inferno fire. But that's where them people came from. They followed me from Michigan. Some of them had went down Louisiana. What the hell do you all follow me for? What do you mean I'm the queen of y'all country? Y'all were not part of my world. Just to be honest. What are you talking about? What in the world are you all talking about? It was never nothing. There was never a war. It was never famine. Everything I put there, I built. Even to where I built the land up. Even when I had built up Palm Island and all that, that stuff was made to my specific designs. All this, my procurements, everything. What do you mean? There was nothing there. You all followed me, got in my business. Y'all went to East St. Louis. Y'all came down here to Florida. All this stuff. All the time, they don't like me. For real. Majority of them, that's how we know who they are. Because they thought they was going to take over and do something and this. Oh, no, you won't, old dummies. You all lack so much knowledge and stupidity because why are you all following me? That's stupid. Why are you trying to go with somebody that you really don't like for no reason? If your country was such wonderful places and all that, why in the world did you all come to the United States? You felt the United States government was stupid because they gave y'all welfare, food stamps, and all this other stuff. That was not a dumb move. They were just trying to give you something to put on your stomach and hopefully y'all can get something together, have somewhere to live. Majority of you all came around unauthorized. That's what they talking about. Moving on properties and they were trying to move around as though they was dignitaries. Now I told you I have certain rights in the United States. Me and my children, yes we do. We have certain rights in the United States. We can never be evicted from nowhere. Oh no. I will not go to jail, prison, or anything. I still face some of the same laws to a certain extent Long as it's not abuse. Because they know how the United States is and how people can get on your nerves for no reason. They seen what I went through. And one thing's for a fact of anybody that know me from any nation, I don't start mess. But I would get involved to take care of it, to end it. I'm not one of those people that will have soldiers or send them out and not be involved myself. I let them know I know what's going on too. I'm not just finna have somebody going out there getting information. I'm finna look for this information too because it involves me and mine. It involves people who depend on me that I didn't even think about, that I didn't even know they depended on me like that. I was looking for answers. So I gotta wean out the bad, the few, the many. And like I told them in another video, bless y'all who been living life and maybe go to work, take care of your kids, come home, your stuff, your home ain't being broken to. I have never not experienced any of that stuff. I have yet to have a calm and solemn moment. Solemn moment. Even where I'm at now, somebody broke in here and stole some stuff. Why you want to steal some AI glasses? Why you want to steal some shirts and all this stuff? Get some t-shirts, some cheap stuff. You can go on TikTok, you can go Temu and Sheen and, let's get this little t-shirts a little worse. Why would you then go buy some? How you want to steal AI glasses and other little stuff? What was your purpose of that? Now, why you all want to come around me and sneak around at night on the property, hoping you can find out what's going on? Watch my TikToks. Then, what you looking for? What is wrong with y'all? I have never really dealt with anybody anyway. People have started coming around me, end up being federal cases. Went from state to federal. Some already had been at the federal case the whole time because why in the world were you all following me around? I don't know y'all. Know nothing about y'all, and there's no way you all should have been in my life, period. We didn't walk the same life. We don't do the same things. And I'm going to tell you something about R. Kelly, brother, the real R. Kelly. Now, I told you the real R. Kelly is on a video with, not Sierra, Carrie Hilton. That's the real R. Kelly. But his brother used the name R. Kelly, too. The one that used to be on the video with their cousin, Aaliyah. That's their cousin. That's their little cousin. Let's be crazy about that little girl. Yep. But anyway, I was out over some people's house. He pulled up. He always just pick me up. He said, come here. He picked me up, put me on top of the hood of his car, on the hood part. Not the way you would have moved it, but on top right there. I said, quit picking me up. He said, let me tell you something. He said, everybody talking about me. He said, oh, Chris Emerson, them, all them people up there, and they molest us. Why they be talking about me? He said, I ain't had sex with them girls. You was out there today. I said, I know y'all peed all on them. I remember because y'all told them to get out y'all face. I said, why was y'all always going over Toy McClain house, you and Diddy y'all, to do y'all dirt, to do y'all bisexual stuff and all this stuff? Why them little girls kept falling? He said, I used to tell them, get out my face. But they gonna get what they looking for. He said, that's why I peed on them. That was right there when he did it. And I say, Toy, you got all them dudes there. Why you always have them little girls up in your house? I say, see, that's why I put you out. I called House Authority because I had East St. Louis House Authority managing my property. Get Toy McClain up out of there. Got a message. Government like, hold up a second. We watching them. Y'all didn't do a good enough job. She kept on keeping up stuff, but she started making Diddy and them quit coming over there. Yeah. But I'm going to end it here. Just tell you what's going on. telling you what's going on. I was never blinded or in the dark by any of these actions. It was the point of what in the world is wrong with you people? Get a life. They still be threatening me right now to this day. The government know it for some odd reason. The cold enough think they tough because they're in the game. And I'm like, now if I was really a terrible and, a dignitary type person, instead of, trying to keep a monarchy going, I could call my army and my people in. Hold up. I need to get these soldiers on up in here and take care of this vice lord and gangster disciple stuff. To see, my people can have weapons. They can have guns and swords and all this stuff. Y'all can't. Anything y'all caught with, you automatically gonna get some time. Because it's known what your intentions are. The same way with me, for break your neck, arms, whatever I do to you when you approach me, even just knocking at my door, find you on any property I'm on, I take care of my business, I'm not going to be in trouble. Just like, and I'm going to end it here, I was on International Plaza Drive at one of my hotels. The Grand Poobah, KKK, Ace, Gene Simmons, all them was there. Chris, them trying to act all tough, and he go to Grand Poobah. I had numerous conversations with him. And Gene up there. I said, why y'all kill my mom and dad and do all this stuff? Listen to Aunt Diana Ross. I said, you knew KC was lying. I said, the other Grand Poobah told y'all he was lying. He ain't had no money. They ain't had no kids together. Him and Betty, right? No kids was kidnapped. And he's standing there looking at me, and I'm looking him in his eye. What? I'm going off. They don't talk. I don't care about no cameras up here. I'm glad it's cameras up here because I'm acknowledge you face to face that now they know you've been knowing who I was the whole time since I was a little girl. You just didn't know. I said, I was 12 years old then. I know 5 or 6 years old because I wasn't saying nothing back to y'all. And Barry Gordon couldn't really give you no information, and y'all was getting half-ass stuff from Smokey Robinson. Y'all acting like y'all looking for Smokey Robinson. Smokey Robinson gave y'all my address. Our home address we had just moved to. That he got from Marvin Gaye. See, Marvin Gaye had already been over our house before. And what he did, it was a magazine or something that was down, and he tore off the address. My daddy didn't get him the address, even though he came over. There was no more than, hey, follow me and this, and that. But we had a table with magazines, how you have your address and stuff on there. That's how he got it. Now, he knew where we lived, but the actual address, that's what happened. My cousin Boo, Mystical now, they had not been to our new residence. We had words so bad, I pulled out that butcher knife. I said, I'm finna do to y'all everything y'all did. They ran. The Grand Poobah say, what you running for if y'all didn't do that and you know you was in them? They ran so fast. He said they know what they did. They didn't care. They prejudice. And the Ku Klux Klan is of people of many nations. I'm telling you, we went in on a meeting one time. I seen a sign at the American Center downtown St. Louis. It said KKK meeting. I'm thinking it's Kappa, Kappa, Kappa. I'm a soror sister. I'm like, okay, I'm Delta. Maybe they finna, get out here and they recruiting and dancing or something. Because that's what, they known for. All soror frats and stuff. Having fun. Why not go in? Come on, the kids always can come in there and watch that stuff. And who do we see? Barack Obama, everybody up in there. Ooh. Oh no, they're going to try to tell me and somebody else. You all going to have to get the black people together. Oh no, we don't got to get no black people together. So they go, I ain't responsible for now. I gave birth to another guy I was with, said the same thing. Ooh, let's get up out of here. Oh no. Y'all going back to y'all Minister Farrakhan with that. You heard me. Cause he talks foolishness. That man's such a troublemaker and all type stuff. He reminds me of Dr. Martin Luther King Sr. That man caused so much problems and caused his own son death. That boy was just following his father's words and all that stuff. You see when they showed those videos and stuff that Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was doing. He was getting bashed by black people, everything. It wasn't just white. His daddy caused so much ruckus, him and Coretta. Coretta actually dated Dr. Martin Luther King Sr. They had all that stuff messed up. And they kids do it because the kids is like, I said, they used to be telling the truth. They knew Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was their brother. I'm telling you. Oh, we some of them pastors back there who one pastors up here praising the Lord. These people love death. Anything to get ahead, and they was already under investigation because where y'all getting money from? Where you getting money from? Y'all having funerals every week at that church. Why every time people come from out of town, they dying? What are y'all doing? Coretta and Dr. Martin Luther King Sr. Coretta, why would you promise these women to go get these drunkards and all this stuff like these people didn't have no family because they sleeping outside? Some people just get tired of their foolishness and destroying the house, peeing everywhere. They might just be causing just stupid problems in the house. They won't get themselves together. They don't mean they don't love them. Because a couple of women used to be out there talking to their uncles, dad. They'll bring them food. Come on, just take you a bath or something. Going back in the streets then. But, talk to y'all later. Bye.